Welcome back to Behind the Badge. And we have with us now from the Virginia Peninsula Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Mike Kuhns. How are you, Mike?
Hi, Harold. Good to see you.
Good to see you. And you are now the current president of the Peninsula Crime Line.
I am.
All right. And would you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be president?
Well, you've heard from Fred Kern, and I met Fred probably 5 or 6 years ago at a business after hours in York County, and started talking to him, and the story's short, here I am. I have had the benefit of having the greatest mentor in Crime Line involvement, and have assumed the positions as in the organization.
Okay. The Peninsula Crime Line, I know you're working on different issues with Peninsula Crime Line, and one of those issues is our image. So could you tell me a little bit about that?
Right. The image, everybody knows the 188 Lock You Up. It's the second most recognized telephone number after 911. However, most people don't understand what's behind the scenes, what drives that. It's more of a marketing issue with the image of the crime line. We certainly don't have a problem with efficiency and operation and anonymity and all those sorts of programmatic things, but is getting the citizens to understand that we need their help, we need their contributions, we need their donations in order to continue to pay the rewards. For all the years we've been in existence, we've actually assisted in providing information that led to the solving of over 1,800 cases, the recovery of almost $1 million in property. We've paid out $250,000 in rewards. Those are all dimes and dollars from the citizens, from corporations, and we have had the benefit of some legacy giving. But now we're at the point where as crime, as people have become aware of the crime line and its value, we pay more rewards. Therefore, we need greater help from the public. And that is the issue, in letting people know we are a volunteer organization, we are a 501c3 tax-exempt charitable organization, and that we really assist local law enforcement and are not a police organization, if you will.
Okay, all right. Not a police organization. How will you, as president of Peninsula Crime Line, how will you get that message out? Because I never see any messages out about Crime Line, except call 1-888 Lock You Up. Is there another way? Are you working on some special things to help with that?
Well, I think we're all working, all of our board members are working on creating an awareness of it. I probably speak many times a month to various organizations, whether it's the Crime Watch organizations, whether it's a Rotary Club, a Lions Club, a Kuhns Club, telling them that it is a multifaceted organization that involves the media, citizens, and local law enforcement. And that's just repetition, because our product is good. The 188 Lock You Up is good, but we really have to let people know that in order to continue that, we need the support of the community, the financial support. And we're fortunate. We have very dedicated volunteers. We have a wonderful core of law enforcement coordinators who run the program and make sure that the anonymity is maintained. But we do need citizen support through contributions to be able to continue our funding.
Continue. All right, the 1-888 Lock You Up number. Okay, everybody knows it. As you said, it's the second most known number other than 911. All right. That's a regional number. It doesn't belong to Peninsula Crime Line, does it?
No, we all of the crime lines in Hampton Roads have joined together in an informal organization called the Hampton Roads Crime Lines. And we all pay for that one number, and it's obviously a telephone tree. If you're interested in Newport News, you listen to the message and hit the number for Newport News. The Crime Line also serves the Hispanic community by offering an opportunity to give a crime in their native language. However, for Newport News, you'd hit number 7. The phone rings on a separate phone line to the coordinator, and then the process begins, as previously mentioned, from the law enforcement standpoint. No one ever knows. It's a separate crime line. It's not discoverable by any attorney in a court of law, and the lines are actually owned by the Hampton Roads Crime Lines.
Okay. All right, there was one other issue that I failed to talk to Mr. Kern about that maybe you could help clarify a little bit, and that's the actual paying of the rewards. How does that happen?
Well, the coordinators come to our board meeting each month and present their cases as a result of the tips received. Keep in mind, we pay on the arrest, recovery of stolen property or illegal drugs.
So I don't want to interrupt you, but you said arrest. So most programs out there say arrest and conviction. What makes us different is?
It is on arrest.
All right.
And so the coordinators present their case. We have a schedule that all of our coordinators follow so that it's consistent throughout the region, and given, depending on the severity of the crime, the amount of property recovered, whether the person is a felon, non-felon, all sorts of criteria, they're given points, and then a dollar amount is applied to those points. And then the board, the civilian board, hears the presentation from our coordinators and determines whether or not that's an appropriate reward. Could be more, could be less.
Okay.
And then we go through the payment process as described before.
All right, which is at a local bank or?
We are fortunate that we have had one of our local financial institutions involved with us since the very beginning, and the person who's to receive the reward merely walks into the facility, gives the number is verified, the amount in the number is verified with a bank security official, and it is paid. No ID, no signing, just take the cash, and that is your reward for providing the information.
Providing the information. So Crime Line works, that is the bottom line.
It does. Crime Line does work, as evidenced by the statistics I mentioned previously.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for being here, being on Behind the Badge. And if you have one other thing that you'd like to say to our public about the Crime Line program, what would that be?
I think the thing to say is that it does work. It is anonymous, and it is one way that the citizens in general can support our local law enforcement, but also the most important thing, it makes our community a safe place to work, live, and play.
Mr. Kuhns, thank you very much for being here.
It's a pleasure.
And we want to thank all of you for watching Behind the Badge, and stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hello, folks. What's one of the best-kept secrets in Hampton Roads? Give up? It's the Hampton Roads Crime Line. Crime Line 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP. If you can hear my voice, you probably have a local crime line or crime solver program. We work with 15 local police jurisdictions. If you have a tip or helpful information, call Crime Line at 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP or 1-888-562-5887. Crime Line. It works, it pays.
Welcome back to Behind the Badge, and I'm here with Miss Juliet Bickford from News Channel 3. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Before we talk about the Crime Line program, tell us a little bit about yourself, especially with News Channel 3.
All right, well, I've been with News Channel 3 for about 2.5 years. I'm actually a native of Hampton, so very glad to be back in the area. And I'm really excited because we've been working with the Hampton Roads Crime Line for taking action against crime for almost 2 years now, working to catch fugitives that are out there all over Hampton Roads.
All right. I'm sure almost everybody knows about taking action against crime, but tell us how it came about and how it worked for the Crime Line program.
We're trying to think of a different way to cover crime. I think one of the biggest complaints people have when they talk about their local news or not wanting to watch any news is a lot of times it's depressing, or it's just all these crime stories, and there's really no way to find the positive in it. And so we were trying to think of a different way that maybe we could help the police department, we could help with the Crime Line program and do some great coverage on stories that maybe weren't being told. Some of these older cases, some of these people who'd been on the run for sometimes quite some time. And so we came up with kind of our own America's Most Wanted. We decided to put fugitives out there every week, and no matter how big or small the case is, if they're wanted, we want to help police find them.
So the obvious question, how's it working?
It's working very well. In fact, I was surprised at how quickly things started rolling. And in fact, our first case, the man turned himself in. just 2 days afterward, and we have had so many success stories like that. People who've turned themselves in within minutes of our broadcast. And then, of course, more importantly, those crime line tips that come in. It's so great to be able to show the community that the crime line program works. We always do a follow-up and say, there was a call that came in, and police are able to follow up on that right away and make that arrest. And I think that that's important to show that the program really does work.
Okay. We talked with Mr. Fred Kern a little bit earlier and Mike Kuhns about the Crime Line program, and they were trying to explain to us what it is all entails. One of the things they didn't talk about was the media side of the house. So would you address that a little bit?
I think a lot of people don't know a lot about the Crime Line program. Luckily, they know the number, 1-888-LOCK-YOU-UP, and so we're happy about that. But they don't realize that it's not just something that's done by the police department. It's really this partnership, and it was this idea that started with this community effort of what can we do to make our community a safer place. So you've got people that are on the civilian board. These are just regular people volunteering their time, working hard to make sure that there's enough money to pay out those rewards, that there is enough publicity about the Crime Line, that people know they can call, they can be anonymous when they know a tip about a crime. And then, of course, there's the media side of it. It's this three-pronged thing when you talk about the police, the community, and the media. And we're so important because we can get that information out quickly. Sometimes we'll talk to you guys, and you need to get somebody's picture out on the news right away. You need to get some information from Crime Line as soon as possible. We know with a lot of your important cases, the more time goes by, the harder it is to get that information. And so we're there to tell the public about the stories, tell the public about the fugitives that are out there, the crimes that have just been committed, and let them know what they can do to help. So if we weren't all working together, this partnership wouldn't work. And I think it's important that the community understand that it is people just like them that are working in this program to make their community a safer place. It's not just something that the government came up with or that the government is funding. This is all community money.
Oh, absolutely. So all people have to do is watch News Channel 3, is that right?
That's right. Every Tuesday at 6 and 11, we profile 2 different fugitives from a different city in Hampton Roads, go into their case. Sometimes we talk to the victims in the case, and they're looking for closure because these people are still out there. And the most rewarding part for me is when we can do that follow-up, and we can talk to the victim, we can talk to that detective who's been spending weeks, sometimes months, often years on this one case, and they can say, case closed.
Case closed. Juliet, thank you very much for being here, for talking with us about the media, what the media does to help support the Crime Line program and making it work. So we want to thank you for that.
Well, thanks. I'm excited to be a part of the program.
And we want to thank each and every one of you for taking a look at Behind the Badge.